Hey everybody, welcome to today's video on Kentucky, the mini trucking state. I'm Sean James and I'm glad to have you here. Like always, hit the like switch, comment, subscribe, notification bells, all that good stuff. Comment down below. All that stuff helps my channel grow. It's been doing pretty good so far. And I really appreciate everybody who has stopped in so far, watched videos, commented, and all that good stuff. I do have a Facebook page that I started to go with this channel. It's the same thing. Kentucky, the mini truck state. So if you'd like to find me on there, I will post some early content on there as far as like maybe some reels and shorts and stuff like that, some pictures of stuff that I'm doing before the videos actually get posted. So that'd be good to go. I've also got a few videos posted that are all doing pretty well. So please go give them a check. I'd really appreciate it. In today's video, we are going to work on getting some of the rear airline put on the back of a Kaydees Mazda. I'm using 3/8 aluminum tubing. I've never used it before, so this will be the first time I've gotten to use it. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out. Like I said, it's a new process for me, so it's all about learning. So hopefully we can learn something together. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. Do all the good YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. All that stuff helps, and I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad to have you guys here. Let's jump into today's video. So as you can see here, I got the raised bed mounts. That way, like I said, the bed is body dropped about 6 inches. That way I have a solid mounting point for the bed. There's the front ones. And so what I would like to be able to do, zoom out here a little bit, is I want to mount the valves directly to the tank, have them come out and then turn and go around this way. And then I think I'm planning on taking these rear ones, going to the rear bags, this front tank, and going up to the front bags. So what we'll do is try and see how we can do this and make it look the best. I have a pretty good idea in my head how I want it to work. Whether it works that way or not, you know, that's always to be seen. So, and well, I may have to make brackets to actually mount the valves to the frame. And for that, I bought a 1/4 inch tap there, and I got some 1/4 inch hardware, bolts, nuts, washers and lock washers. I have a couple different styles of benders, a couple different wrenches, and then I got 3/8 aluminum tubing. There are the 2 1/2 inch valves, 2 3/8 valves for the front. Same thing for the rear, so I've got plenty of line, I believe. And then these are the fittings I'll be using to go into the bags, make the turns, go into the valves and all that stuff. So these are 3/8, these are 1/2 inch, and those are the T's I need to go between them. So I think what I need to do first is try and get the fittings into the air tanks. So I plan on putting the 2 1/2 inch valves coming out. I'm going to mount the 3/8 valves on the side, have the dump come back to dump the air out. The rear tank will be the front, or the rear bags. The front tank will be the front bags. So let's go ahead and let me get these fittings taped up. I got some Blue Monster Teflon tape that I see put in Fab Shop. He highly recommends that, so I'm going to try it the first time. And let me get those fittings in, and then we'll get the air valves mounted, and I'll kind of give you a better breakdown of kind of what I'm wanting to do. You want to remember, whenever you're putting on Teflon tape, you want to make sure and put it in the direction you're going to be turning your nipple or your fitting or whatever. That way, as you turn it in, it's not trying to back off there. I always like to put 2 or 3 rounds on there to make sure I have plenty on it. This is something I'm not very good at, but with practice we'll get better. So, you know, back when I was younger, we didn't have, well, we had Teflon tape, but I didn't have the knowledge as far as any of this stuff. It was all kind of guess at it, figure it out, and all that stuff. And through watching other YouTubers and stuff, I've gotten a lot better information and stuff like that. So it's always good to learn. Like I said, this channel isn't a how-to; it's just how I do it. And I'm still learning. I've been around trucks for a long time. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a very good mechanic, nothing like that. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge of trying to figure it out. I have good friends that help me along the way, so that always makes it fun. You know, that's what a lot of this is about, is just having friends that do this stuff with you. So there you go. We got the Teflon tape on. I have 3 more to do. I'm gonna go ahead and get all these Tefloned up because that doesn't make a whole lot of fun watching me do that. But once I get them put on there, we'll figure out and start setting the half-inch valves. Air valves on in place, and so now I have some half-inch 90s. Have these. We'll have to get 4 of these ready as well. It'd be the same process. Is we'll go ahead and get them all joined. They're all taped up and ready. And then once we get those taped up and ready, we'll start getting some of the airline ran out. For that, I've got this 3/8 aluminum that we're going to use. It's pretty soft, pretty easy, and I'll just have to take it straight a little bit at a time because I don't need any really long runs for that. So that should be pretty easy. I can just hold it flat against the table and roll it out against the table, and I'll get it nice and flat enough for what I'm needing it to do. And then we'll figure out how we want to do some of these bends. I'm sure some of the guys that remember back when we first started all this mini truck and stuff, like I live in West Kentucky, there wasn't a lot of people at that time that even had air rides. So I was kind of one of the first around here that I knew of. There's a couple people that had hydraulics and stuff like that, but not very many that actually did airbags. And, you know, there just wasn't nothing in my area. And, you know, this is pre-internet, before you could get online and order all the stuff you need, go on Amazon and click this and have it in a couple days. And I didn't realize you can go to like a lot of the truck centers and get the fittings that you needed and all that stuff to make this a whole lot easier. And so, like I said, I would use, you know, half-inch airline with hose barbs and fittings and all that stuff, which is definitely not the way to do it. And I had old gas valves on the interior of the truck that I used to actually raise and lower the truck. I made a console that housed the 4 gas gauges, or the 4 gas valves. And you know, my friend Jason, he was never into mini trucks, but he always ran around with me. We go out on weekends and stuff like that and go cruise around, and he'd always get a big kick out of hit the valves, because he knew that it wasn't the correct way to do it. You know, mini trucking and stuff, they had some ads back then where you could buy the stuff and get the stuff ordered, but you know, sometimes back then you'd order stuff, you have to wait, you know, 4 to 6 weeks to get your stuff. And I don't know, I just never did feel comfortable ordering stuff back then, because it's not like it is today where, you know, it's readily available pretty much anywhere you need to go now. You can go on Amazon or eBay and find all the parts you need pretty easily. So now, and that's where these came from, was Amazon. You can see I've got them all ready to go in. So let's go ahead and get the front air valve, or the front valves in on the front tank. We'll get them tightened down. We'll go ahead and get these valves in. And we'll kind of get a layout of an idea of where we want to put the rear 3/8 valves, the dump valves. So let me get these mounted up, and then we'll show you that. Cool ideas that we had when building this truck was a good way to get stuff passed through the frame and make it where we can get stuff through there. So we come up with the idea of the pass through. So that way I don't have to worry about running stuff over the notch, or, you know, beside the notch, keeps it cleaner. Kind of see I've got that going on with my power wires going to the battery. Don't mind the battery, it's just temporary for fitment and stuff. So I will be getting a new battery. But yeah, that was kind of a neat idea that we came up with. And like I said, none of this is secured yet, so don't bite me on that one yet. We still have to get all the fittings and stuff, all that. But I want to get the airline ran, and then go ahead and get all the clamps on this stuff. So let's get back to the airline. The plan is I'm going to come off this stuff with the aluminum line, come over and turn it, and go up this way. So now let's figure out where we want to put the dump valves for the front, and then the dump valves for the back. I think the dump valves for the back might actually get mounted right here to this. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what's going to be the best way to do that. And then I can figure out how I want to tee it to dump it and all that good stuff. So let me kind of think on that a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have never worked with this type of line before. Like I said, we always did it with old air hose line. So this is my first time messing with stuff. I have seen several videos online on how to straighten it out. A lot of times they say if you just hold it to a flat surface and roll it out. you can get a pretty good bead on it. I've seen some videos where you can pull it through boards, different stuff like that, or you can buy different rollers and all that to make it. We can definitely work with what we have here. Just a little bit of straightening it out as we go. Get it straight. And like I said, we're just gonna need a few small pieces at a time. So I'm gonna get a tape measure and kind of figure out how long of a piece I need. I am gonna cut a little bit of extra since I have not done this before. And then we'll kind of figure out how we want it to route and what we want to do with it from there. All right, if I come off the fitting, we have about 14.5 inches before it needs to turn. And then if we come up, we're probably looking at about a 20-inch piece. I'm not really sure exactly, like I said, how I want to mount this yet. So I just want to get it kind of figured out, bent, and then we'll figure out how we want to mount the air valve depending on how the bend comes out. All right, so we need about 2 foot. Up here, we'll make a mark. And this is a tubing cutter. You can get it pretty much any store. And all you gotta do is clamp it on your piece. Whoa! Maybe lay it down a little better. And this doesn't have to be exactly 2 foot. Like I said, we're just doing extra. So what you do is you put a little pressure on it, you turn it, put a little pressure on it, turn it. Cuts it through. Then on the back of it, that turns out. Now clean the stuff out of the, deburr it. That's nice and clean. So what I want to do with the bender, need to get it where it fits here. Then you make sure and hold it tight and push against it, and it'll draw it down. I'm gonna go about a 90, right about there. All right, now that we have this here, I'm kind of having the thought that I would like to take and bend this down, come out, bend down, run along the frame, and then this will turn up. And I can mount the dump valve here on the back side where it's out of the way, and just let it dump to underneath the bed. But I think I want to make this where I can mount it with clamps. So what I need to do is figure out this bend. I have some scrap already, so what I may do is just play with that. Or what I've seen before is take like a piece of clothes hanger and bend it the way you want, and then just slowly work your way to that. I know with those bends, I probably need to stay a little ways back, because they're kind of wide, and I can figure out, just a little bit of math, figure out, how wide that bend has to be. And I can measure back how far I need to go, and then just jog it up to it. I want it to look like I meant to do it. All right, I've got the bend figured out. Now what I need to do is know how long or how far in this pushes into the connect fitting, so I know where to mark it to cut it. So what I need to do is push it in, make sure it's connected, put a mark on it, and pull it out and measure that. You see the mark there? It's about 7/8 of an inch. And so I'm wanting this to fit tight to the frame over here. So what I'll do is I'll mark this at the front, and then I'll just drop 7/8 of an inch over. So set this stuff out of the way. I'll just drop 7/8 of an inch right there. Open up our cutters, just the same as earlier. This time we actually have to line it up to make sure we get it where we want it. Got it on there, so now turn it, turn it. can see it, but as I'm turning it, I'm actually turning the dial. Make sure we got no burrs. Blow that out. And you want to make sure it's extremely clean because you don't want any of those little pieces to go back down through your line and cause problems. All right, so now if this is any count, let's see if we can make it work. Sorry about that. I actually had to make a tripod. It's just a piece of 3/4 inch black iron pipe welded to a piece of 1/4 inch plate, and I got bar clamps clamped on it for now. I do have a new tripod coming. It'll be here Sunday. I didn't feel like waiting all week to make the video, so I decided just to get out here and get started on it. So once we know that this works, we'll just have to double it, make another one for the other side. Oop, there. Push it in. Looky there. Just like we wanted. Come around, let's do this. So now we got that mounted down to the frame. Like I said, we can take and mount the dump valve here and then just dump it out the back, around or whatever, it doesn't matter. This will continue on to the front bags up through there. So let's see how close this is to fitting on the other side. And I'll do that off camera because I can't really do this with one hand. But if it's close enough, what we'll do is we'll try and make a double of it, or make it very, very similar for the other side. All right, we got it very close to fitting. So now we can work on making an exact opposite of this. And I'm not honestly sure the best way to do that, but we're gonna do it regardless. So because the last one 24 inches, and we cut off about 6 1/4. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut this one about 18. That way we're not wasting a bunch of tubing. We'll pull this off. Mark 18. Another routine with the cutters. Let's close that so we don't stab ourselves. I'm gonna go just a little bit wider with 18, just to be safe. Like a 1/2 inch, not much. The other side is actually a little closer, so being able to show you everything. There you go. Take it. Make sure you clean it out. Good to go. Now last time we just couldn't put it right into the edge of the bender. Gotta pull this up first. That goes there right to the front. And we'll just bend that to a 90. Now we gotta make sure and do is bend it opposite. Because I have been known to make the same part 3 times when it comes to making parts. I did it on my bed mounts. I had all the pieces cut. I built one, I set them up here. I was like, make sure I do this where they're opposite of each other. And I looked at one and I made the other one exactly like it. I got them all welded up, I let them cool off. When they ate supper, I come back when to put them on. I built the right side twice. Like, oh my gosh. So then I had to turn around and build another one. And here is proof of that. The extra bed mount for the same side. So now I got a pretty cool little piece that I might be able to try and find a use for somewhere down the road. All right, so now what I'm going to do is pull this valve off and try and get some reference marks. We'll line this up. And this one is bent right here. And I need to do the opposite, so that needs to go to the bottom. I use this bender, it's just easier for these smaller ones like this to line up. It is a little more confusing though. So that is where the bend starts. I need this to go that way. I need it to bend down. Get it out. I'll do is actually use it like this to check it, a little twisted. It's pretty close. Close it down just a touch. And then we'll mark where this is turned right there. Same thing, we'll put it on the back side. Line it up in the middle of the thing. Force it down. Okay, we left that a little long to start with, so we should be pretty good. It's a little twisted. Sure you can see it there. I'm trying to get something and just kind of twist it back around, so we'll do that. See if we can't get it to straighten up. Hey, there you go. Do it by hand, so it's soft enough. So got a nice 90 to it. Looks a little wonky on the camera though. Let's make that look better. That looks like crap. There we go. Let's see how it fits on the truck. All right, we'll do the same thing we did the last time. We'll put this here, push it against the frame. And I believe by looking at these, that we can mark the back side of this. So that looks about where we want it. And this time we're only wasting like 1.25 inches, so that's a lot better deal than wasting 6 inches. Oh, come on, but line it. Got it on there, turn it, tighten it as you're turning it. Comes right off. Pretty sweet, huh? Open it up. Make sure there's no burrs. Get the wiring out of the way. We got a little bit of a twist in it, but I'm not mad at it. We'll be able to straighten that out pretty easily. Let's put the other side on there. See what it looks like. And I think I actually want to take a little bit off this one. It's putting a lot of pressure on the back of that. I need to take like, I don't know, maybe 3/16 off of it. See if I can't do that real quick. I don't know how small you can go with these cuts, so we will learn together. That seems to be all right. Yeah, that worked out good. Clean it out. Make sure you get all the burrs out of it. So the last thing you want to do is get those through your stuff, causing problems. Hey, there you go. There's an idea. Twist it up and get in there. All right. I want to fix the way this looks. You can see how this isn't centered on the thing. So I'm going to take and try and work on getting that twisted straight. This one a little better. It'll do okay once we actually get it mounted down. But I think that turned out pretty sweet for the first time messing with it. I think it looks really good. We'll be able to secure it down with some rubber isolator straps. We got them up here on the table. So we'll be able to drill holes and tap the 1/4 bolts into the frame to hold it in place. That way it's nice and secure. The last thing we want to do is have this stuff rattling loose, making noise, and possibly vibrating and causing issues, rubbing holes, and then possibly leaking. Like I said, this truck is for my 16-year-old daughter. She'll probably be 18 by the time I get it done. I told her I was going to have it done for her by her birthday this year. That was back in March, April. I'm a dad. I'm not great with dates. But I was supposed to have it done for her birthday then, but we've had a lot of stuff with our family going on, so I wasn't able to get it done. So now I'm trying to work on it, and now here we are with a YouTube channel trying to, show you guys what I'm doing. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I know that it's not the most informative thing. I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but this is what I'm doing. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning. I enjoy the task of trying to learn stuff. So we'll just keep doing that and keep plugging along. Right now I need to figure out exactly how I want to mount those valves. So we have, let's see, these are the 3/8. Those will be the dump valves. And what I'd like to do is be able to mount them like here somewhere. And then just use that, you know, dump it out. I don't know, I may even turn it down. I can put it below if I needed to. But I do like this placement of that. And then, like I said, I'm going to figure out where I want to mount these. And then we'll kind of go from there. Which these do have mounts that I took off, because I thought I might have to make custom ones for the way I wanted to mount it. And I still may have to do that. And I may have to actually shorten these up to be able to plumb these together better. But that's just a matter of, like I said, getting these mounted and then figuring exactly how I want to run that. So let's figure that out. And just in case y'all thought I was kidding, this is what I'm using as a stand right now. This is just a clamp, slides up, and I've got a magnet on the back of my phone, so it just sticks to it. I can walk away from it. I can point it somewhere. Like I said, I got a tripod coming from Amazon. It'll be here Sunday, but I want to make a video, kind of get ahead. That way I'm not real far behind. I have 2 more videos already loaded, but I want to make sure and stay ahead of it so I don't get real behind and get myself in a bind and have to make a quick video. So, like I said, this is just a quick way for me to do it. Down and dirty, all it is. But it works out really good. Use your head, you can figure it out. That's what I've got done so far. Just a couple of hard lines. I like the way they dump down, and I'll be able to time to the frame. I'm gonna have to touch this bend up a little bit, get it where it's flat. I don't want to put pressure on nothing, which is really easily done, so it's not a real big deal. But man, I think that's gonna turn out pretty slick. All right, well, I was working on this stuff. I kind of had an idea. What would be best to keep this out of the way of everything else is if, come back, I turn that T this way, and I can mount this valve on the backside here out of the way. And I can make a bracket or use the bracket that came on it possibly to make that work, and then just have to run a hard line from here to there. And then, what I'm thinking about doing is possibly putting like a valve on the back side as a slowdown. If I don't like, you know, if it drops too fast or whatever, I can always just choke it down a little bit. And I know they make different things for that, but you can take like an old gas valve, just like run back to my roots, partially close it, and that'll slow it down. If it's too fast, I don't want it where it's going to drop raw, because I know 3/8, you know, 2 3/8 lines, that thing come down really quick. And I don't think that's going to be the way I want to do it. And so the whole thing that I want to, like I said, I want to do is make this reliable for my daughter to drive it. She's not going to drive it all the time. You know, it's going to be just like a special occasions thing, you know, and like we like to go to the cars and coffee things and stuff like that. And she has a lot of fun. So, you know, basically I want to build her something cool. And like I said, I want to make it where she doesn't have to worry about when she gets in it being dangerous and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to figure out a bracket for that. And that'll be the next thing that I do. And then once I get that figured out, I think what we'll do is we'll call that the end of the video. And then like I'd like to get that part figured out and at least tied together and get this back part figured out. And then the next video, we'll focus on the front air tank and getting those front lines kind of tied together. I'm not going to show like going from the front to all the way up to the front. I'm not exactly sure I want to do that. There's a lot of stuff in the way, especially on the driver to the passenger side, all the air tanks and the power lines and all that stuff. The gas tank isn't mounted. It's just kind of sitting there, so don't worry about that. But this other side, I've got plenty of room to run it, but I don't think I want to run both sides down one side, then up to the front. I don't want to tee it, I don't believe. I think that's kind of a bad idea as well. All right, so this is the bracket that goes on the 3/8 valves. In this video, I'll have my sponsor, Frosted Flakes, to help me make the pattern. So I know a lot of you guys have this kind of stuff around the house. It's great for making patterns and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll cut a part of this off and we'll make a copy of the pattern. Get this out of the way. Basically, anytime we eat cereal at the house anymore, I just tell my wife to throw the boxes in the garage and I'll find a place to put them. That way I've got something to make patterns with. Always handy. It's nice and rigid. It's easy to work with. You can cut it with scissors. So, all right, you have the pattern. Let me find my marker. It's over here on the ground. So what I want to do is I want to make this pattern. I want to make it to where I have more depth coming off, and then that way this can just sit right on top of the round pipe, and then I can tap into the top and bolt it down and make it easy accessible. So I just want to make this longer. So what we'll do is we'll use the back here and just mark this here. Hi honey, how you doing?
I just woke up from a nap.
You just woke up from a nap. Now you're in my video. That's my oldest daughter, Kendall. She has been sleeping since she got home from school. Now she wants a snack, and it is now almost 9 o'clock. So good, right before bedtime snack. All right. So this is a copy of the pattern, and what I want to do is I want to come up here probably about an inch, and we'll cut it out, and then we'll lay it up there and see how it works. And then if that works, I'll transfer this to a piece of steel I have in the back, and I'll have to cut out with a grinder and a hole saw, or I'll have to figure out a way to cut that. That's part of it. When you only have a few tools, there's only a few ways you can do it, and so you've just got to find a way to make it work. I know I have a hole saw that's smaller than that, and I know I have a hand file where I can file that hole out if I need to. It's a harder way to do it, but it's a way to do it. So you got to get by with what you have. So I want to add an inch to that. So we got that there. Pop the lid. Mark an inch. Mark an inch. Then I need to find a straight edge. Let me find a straight edge real quick. This piece of metal will work. So what I want to do is I just want to come straight off this edge here. Line it up. Just mark it up because I don't really need those ears for this. Line it up. Mark it. Line it up and mark it. All right, and then go across the front. And there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to do stuff like this, so this isn't groundbreaking at all. And so there we have it. Now let's cut this out, cut that out, and then we'll just see how that fits. And if that works, then I got a piece of 1/8 inch, which is more than plenty. I'll cut that out of it. I'll have to cut at least 2. I'm sure the front ones will be different, so we'll wait to do those until we need it, but we'll always have this pattern if we need it. And so the easiest way to cut the circle out is just take a razor blade and just follow your circle. Now, you usually have some shears we use at work for cutting vinyl to cut this cardboard. I do not have them with me today. They're in our tool trailer at work, so I won't be able to do that. But I do have a pair of scissors here. They're not the best though. I could probably just cut that with this easy enough. If I take my time. I'll stand the outside of the line. It's kind of hard working without a radio on. It's almost like against state law. So we always say at work. But if you do that on YouTube, you get struck by licensing and stuff like that. So you can't do that. Let me see if I can find my scissors real quick. All right, got scissors. Now I want to make sure I can clean these corners up. Don't want to make them square. That's boring. Anything could be square. Make it look nice. Same thing up here. Don't have anything. We're just gonna get your arm, cut you up. That's always my look, it seems like. There we have it. Nice little pattern. So now we gotta check to see how it'll fit on the frame. I know this is gonna fit here, so I'm not too worried about how that's gonna work. I just wanna see how this will work to the frame if we need to trim it at all. All right, let's see how that fits. This will go down there like that. And we may actually bend that so we can stay away from these lines. I didn't think about that. You definitely don't want to have the top of this, the heads on top of that, which we could pull it over here and mount it, and that would be fine. There's really no loss for that, and I actually kind of like the way the valves be closer together, so I think that might be it. It could possibly be just a little bit longer. It's about at the center if you look at it from the top, which is hard to see because of the line. But we could definitely make that work. So let's go ahead and transfer that over to some sheet metal. I got looking at my scrap bin, bunch of scrap stuff I've had left over, and I came up with a couple pieces that I think will work better. It's not 1/8 inch, which I think is way overkill. I mean, it's just 2 valves mounting, and I've got this metal here. It was used templates that I used when I made my battery box. They're the brackets that went right there just to test fit it. So I've got extra steel here, and so what I like to do is just take this, and I've got these magnets. All these magnets are tough too. So get your piece where you want it. Drop your magnet on the floor, have another one, lay it on there, set it where you want it, and then mark it and cut it. I'll have to stay away from the corners. I like to stay it close to a flat spot where I'm not having to cut as much of it. We'll get that marked, and then I'll actually use the this bracket. When I drill the holes, I'll clamp it down. That way it cannot move. And I'll make sure and get the holes exactly where they have to go, so I won't have to worry about it fitting. So let me get that marked out. I'll probably cut it off camera. Let's see, what time is it? 9 o'clock, 9:15. I got time. I can make a little more racket. All right, we got the 2 brackets cut, ground out. See how they match up with this, which that's not really super duper duper important. Lines up pretty good. So what I like to do now is take and clamp those together. I'll drill the holes and get those ready to get mounted. The video's already kind of running kind of long, so I may just kind of end it there, and then we'll come back on the next one, get these mounted and start working on the front. I appreciate you guys following along with this so far. It's been a dream for a long time to do this, start this channel, and I really appreciate everybody coming along. I had a pretty good, so far I've had over, I think we're like 115 subscribers. The next 2 videos, the past 2 videos, we've already surpassed that by the time I recorded those, so that's great. I really appreciate it. Everybody that's sharing, I appreciate that. I'd like to see more comments in the comment section if you can. That helps out a lot, helps the algorithm, all that stuff. Hit the like switch, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. And we'll make sure we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.